All right, everybody, we're back on the 5 Minute Mark podcast here today, and this is a great guest. I have not had somebody like this here before on my show, so I'm really excited to learn, as I hope my listeners learn here today. We got Amy Stefanik here today from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Did I say that right?
Waxhaw, yeah.
Yeah, right. I said it right here today, and we're going to be talking to her about being the entrepreneur's wife. This is a really great subject. A lot of entrepreneurs out there in this world are just rocking it, and they're trying to be like Gary Vaynerchuk and work 18 hours a day, and the wives have to go along with that. So we're going to be talking about a lot of cool things here today. So, Amy, say hello to everybody.
Hey, how are you?
Hello,
everybody.
What's up? All right. So, Amy, just tell us a little bit about the story of how you started this, and we'll kind of lead in from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my husband and I have been married we've been together for 14 years, and since the very beginning, he's been an entrepreneur. And so there have been some great times and there have been some struggles. And what I found was during the 14 years that there were moments or times that I felt alone because we didn't have connections to other entrepreneurs and their spouses. And so it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I started going to events and meeting other entrepreneurs and their spouses that I realized that I wasn't alone, that there was a whole bunch of people that were out there just like me. And that's kind of where the entrepreneur's wife got roots, is because I saw a need for a community.
Gotcha. So now when you say I'm not alone, is there something you were trying to deal with as an entrepreneur's wife that we're trying to look at here, or is there?
Well, I mean, you know that as an entrepreneur, you go through financial struggles and
Absolutely.
And things like that. And so it's just, you hear about that for the entrepreneur and them, losing things or foreclosure and all these things like that. But there's also, if they have a family, that family is feeling those losses too. Yeah. And so it is, sometimes I always say to reach up instead of out. And when your community of people aren't familiar with entrepreneurship, it's hard for them to relate. So they don't understand. They're like, well, tell them to get a job. Like, if you're broke, get a job. And so tapping into entrepreneurs and their spouses, they understand the roller coaster. And so they're like, yeah, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and they can talk to you in a way that motivates you instead of hashing it out and kind of agreeing with all your negativity. Mm-hmm.
It's funny. You're just hitting on so many points here with me. This conversation I know is going to go on for like an hour. But you're talking about the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm starting a business myself, and I've been a very successful entrepreneur before, but I'm starting all over. I started a podcast. I've started some online courses and stuff like that. And this massive struggle that goes along with that. And I've been purposely staying single so that I wouldn't have to put the person through this lifestyle I have to go through here. It's, It's very challenging. It's very challenging and emotionally challenging. And you're right. My friends all go, hey, Dennis, get a job, because I'm perfectly able to go and get $150 an hour doing website design or whatever. But I'm like, I don't want that.
Right.
I want to do what I want to do. And I'm stubborn and I'm going forward, but I know the light at the end of the tunnel is there.
Right.
So it is, I can imagine, because I've been in a relationship also by having an entrepreneur, but the struggle is that you have to kind of sit there and have this amazing trust in your husband.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the hardest things is not to trust without seeing, but also to not reveal your fears at times. And so you have to hold those feelings in of, oh my God, because that makes their fears come to light, and it's, that's toxic. So you have to kind of balance yourself in, being secure with yourself and knowing, I'm going to handle this kind of within myself a little bit. And just knowing the right moment to have a freak out with them, because if they're struggling at the moment and you come to them saying, what are we going to do? They're like, I don't know.
I'm not thinking about that right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the kind of things that made me want to start the Entrepreneur's Wife, is because there are a lot of new entrepreneurs and spouses out there. Yes. And if they know that it's going to be okay, yeah, the struggle's real, like you're going to struggle, but there's people to talk to that are not going to say, you don't need that. Like, forget that. Like, go get a job and you can take care of yourself, or tell him to get a job. You don't need that negativity because you have enough hurdles to cross as an entrepreneurial family. You don't need outside negativity kind of validating that voice inside your head.
I love how you said that entrepreneur's family. I mean, I think when somebody is going to decide to start a relationship with an entrepreneur, they really should understand what they're signing up for. And maybe really kind of be, if they don't know what an entrepreneur is, they should really need to know, because there's the challenge that goes with it. And then there's, like you said, I mean, if I didn't have half their negativity coming at me, I would be uplifted. I've been in relationships where I've grown my company 10 times because it was a very supportive relationship. And I've been in others where I've lost 10 times the money. I mean, they always say behind every good man is a good woman. And it's absolutely true. You can see that in so much. If you get over that hurdle, life is amazing for both.
Yeah,
the family,
absolutely.
you know, and it's just, but it's a journey. It's absolutely a journey, and it can strengthen your relationship, or you can make it set it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I see a lot. And I've felt that in my own marriage, is that if you're not on the same page, and you're communicating, then there can be a division that's created, and it becomes his business or her business, and you're not really sharing, ownership of the family business. And so, the division can be toxic. It can break you apart, because the fear is so heavy at times. Especially for women, financial security is very, very important.
Yes.
And so when I tell people when they're on an entrepreneurial relationship, is you have to find a new form of security, because things change every single day. You don't have a 9-to-5 job. You can't rely on that check every 2 weeks or every week. You're creating your own money. And so you have to kind of get your footing in a new way and create a new normal for your family. And you have to find security in different forms. And so that's really important.
I like that. So where did you find yourself making that shift to say, you know what, I'm all in on this, and I'm going to change my way of security? I've never heard that before. So I really like what you're saying here. What was the moment that helped you decide that I gotta find a new footing?
Yeah, it's been off and on over the years, because as you're faced with struggles, you're faced with making that decision. So it's not a set decision that you make and then you're there forever. It's a decision that you're consciously having to make over and over and over again. Yep. And so for me in the beginning, because I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family, my dad worked, my mom stayed home and raised kids. And so they set my path. You go to school, you get married, and you have babies. That's what you do. And so when I met my husband and he opened the doors to this whole new world, I had no idea what I was in store for. And so kind of finding footing in a foreign country in a way, and learning to rely and completely trust on someone else was a big learning curve for me. And so what I found was that you have to find security within yourself. And my security is that I had to become okay with every day is different. Your successes today is not going to be your successes tomorrow. And so you can't rely on, oh my gosh, we just launched this, huge project and look how good we're doing, because that might not be the same way 3 weeks from now. And so you kind of have to roll with it. You just have to learn that it's ever changing, and you have to become okay and kind of settled in on that.
But isn't life like that anyway? I mean, as soon as we think it's going to be a sunny day, 3 rain thunderstorms come the next day. Right. Every time we think, like, I'm a golfer, I just shot 68. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot 65 and I shoot 86. Right. It's like, as soon as you think you got a hold of something, it's just not there. So it teaches you not to hold on to things. Really,
it does in a way, but it teaches you to hold on to what's important.
Right.
Because, life changes everything. That's just life. But when you're outside of the box, even though entrepreneurship is so normal in a way, like there's a lot of entrepreneurs, living outside of that corporate America is still kind of out of the normal. People are still like, it scares people. And so even though life changes and that's the normal, it's different because you're still kind of abnormal to the outside world. And so, especially when you're going through the valleys, when you're trying to talk to people, they just don't get it. And so your ever-changing life scares the crap out of everybody else around you unless they understand it. And so that's why it's so important to tap into that group of people that get you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm learning a lot here today because I've been a lifer. I've never had a real job, essentially, besides having a bet. A roommate said, I bet you can't have a real job. And I did for 2 weeks and I couldn't. But I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. So I've been living in this world, and it all makes sense to me. But I'm learning a lot from you from the other side here today. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, obviously, just in life. But I'm learning a lot here today. And I really love how you're taking the stand for this purpose for us as entrepreneurs and women who are out there married to entrepreneurs. So I'm really stoked that you're doing this. This is really cool.
Thank you.
What is some guidance we can give to somebody that's in this situation, that's kind of on the fence, that's, obviously I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to promote this to women, and you are too. What are some guidance, like some first steps to kind of getting used to this or kind of enhancing it or growing into it?
The big thing is communication, because you have to know that, or you have to learn your spouse basically, and you have to take the me out of it, because we are me driven. Like, how is this going to affect me? Like, this is bothering me. You kind of have to look at it as a whole and understand that they're trying to create something, an empire or a legacy, and that takes a lot of mental energy. And so you have to kind of learn each other again. I mean, especially if you've been married for a while and you're just now jumping into entrepreneurship, you kind of have to learn each other and learn that you can't just, pull on them whenever you want, because it might not be the best time. And I know that people are like, oh my gosh, that's not right. You're a wife, you should be able to, well, yeah, you should, absolutely. But you also have to realize that your normal is not normal anymore.
Right.
Like, it's changed. And so get on board with each other, talk to each other. I'm a big promoter of like self-help books, family books, marriage books, the 5 love languages, things like that. Like, learn each other, learn what each other needs, learn what pushes each other up, and do those things. The big thing for entrepreneurs and their spouses is making not only the business a priority, but making the relationship a priority. But you also have to find new ways of doing that as well. And that's all about, it's all about communication. That's the key.
Yep. And the up and down is going to come, like you said. I know it personally over and over again. Just less than a year ago, I was asking a friend to buy dog food for my dog. It got that low.
Yeah.
That's a humble place to be. And that's another thing that we have to kind of deal with is you can lose it all and get it all. Of course, it can come back just as quick.
Right.
Being an entrepreneur, because that person's generally talented, and they just have to kind of find their talent and kind of push with it. And
right.
One thing that kind of struck a note with me is how you said, don't nag, especially when it's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive machine at that point in time. Mm-hmm. The ship's going down. The last thing they need is somebody is to nag them or pull on them. And it goes vice versa on both sides. So, but I just know that, again, I'm feeling all this with you. So yeah. I think that's the communication part. I've heard this out of 2 episodes now. The communication part is really, really important to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like you were saying, you can, sometimes the journey scrapes you to the bottom. You lose all. I know for Matt and I, in the beginning, we were doing really, really good. We were in real estate. We were in our early 20s. We were rocking and rolling. I was like, this is really happening. I can't believe it. Everything he said came true. This is great. Well, then the market crashed and we lost everything. And when I mean everything, everything. And we have kids. And so those are the moments where you have to hold on to more than just, the outside stuff, and realize that you're going to have to build it back up. That doesn't happen for everybody. Not everybody's journey is, fall, get back up, fall, but get back up. But a lot of people are. And it's when you fall is when you really learn, who you are and how strong your marriage is.
So let's ask this question. You obviously were a great support of him because now you're back up on top, right?
Yeah.
And it's a team effort. It really is. What are some of the things you can, some advice you can give to people to help prop up? Because you can probably think of those moments right now, like, oh my God, I need to participate with him right now as his partner and push him up and elevate him because he's really struggling with this right now. We're really struggling with this right now. But there's some contribution you've given that maybe you can point out now that help.
Well, I think, and I have to be, I mean, for me, to be honest, I haven't always been supportive. And I think that's what's brought me to this page. Yeah. But it's the moments when I saw that he was struggling emotionally and, really like spiritually struggling, that you kind of have to swallow your own feelings and be that person to say, you know what, it's no big deal. We're going to make it. You kind of have to just breathe belief back into them, because even though you might be saying in the back of your head, I have no idea how we're going to pay for our mortgage and our car payment and, the kids and all these things, but you kind of have to swallow that and say, you know what, it's going to be okay. We're still together. Everything's going to be fine. It's just money. We can always make more money. And so those are the big things that it's the belief breathing that I think is has helped us the most, is kind of taking a step back and putting everything back into him so that he can kind of get it all back together and start moving again. Okay.
So now on the upside, success is here. How about talking from that end? There's now there's a success side of emotional connections with a entrepreneurial's, wife. So how about that side?
Yeah, I think success is an amazing thing, because you can look back and say, for me, it's saying you told me it was going to be this way. You said this and it's actually happening, and thinking about, where we come from to where we are today. And it sounds cliche, like thinking about where we used to be. It's so important to remember that, because looking back, it honestly, it's like, it doesn't seem that bad because it was so long ago. You're like, oh, that wasn't that. It was fine. Yeah. But just feeling that sense of security and knowing how hard he worked, it's this admiration that you feel. So that's great, but you still have, it's a marriage. So you still have your struggles, because for me, time is important to me. And because he's so invested into the business, there's a lot of time invested into the business. And so, you're always going to have different pulls and tugs when it comes to the business and the marriage, because I always say, like, his cell phone's my nemesis. I hate that phone, and I'm like, but yeah, throw it away. But, it's just, with the highs, there's struggles, and with the lows, there's struggles. You just have to kind of hold on to, each other and enjoy the ride. It is, of course, a lot easier when you are, succeeding, but it's great. The journey is the journey. And I always say, people put like success is like the finish line. Like, once I become successful, then we can be happy. Then we can have these things. And I think that success is every day for you. Like, every day is a success. Whatever you're doing is a success. So, you have to be happy throughout the journey, because at the end, if you're not happy, then you're not going to be happy when you're successful. And so that's kind of been a lesson that I've learned, is that you have to learn how to be happy through everything. Yes, so true. So true. And, there's the struggle, there's the success, and without each one of those things, life doesn't exist. It's if it was sunny every day, then it would be boring, Right. And an entrepreneur's life is definitely I don't even know how to explain it, but a wide range of experience. Yeah, absolutely. So if people want to follow you and they want to learn from you and all that, can we talk about you and what your movement is? Yeah, absolutely. I guess they call now tribe. What's your tribe? If I want to join your tribe, why do I want to join your tribe, and what can you do for me and all that kind of stuff? This is your chance to shine. Yeah. So basically, I'm building a community of entrepreneurs and their spouses. So it's not just for the spouse of an entrepreneur. It's for both, because I believe that you kind of have to be on the same page. Like I said, shared vision. And I definitely don't want it to be, well, Amy said this, and then the spouse being like, well, who is this Amy? Like, what is she? Why is she in our marriage all of a sudden? And so, I want, by no means am I a counselor or anything like that, but it's a place for entrepreneurs and spouses and their spouses to come and kind of see and hear other people's stories and gain perspective and, friendships and things like that. So I have my Facebook page that, everybody connects with. I also have a blog, amystefanik.com, and I'm writing a book about our journey along with the stories of other entrepreneurs and their spouses. So, yeah.
So basically, if you're out there, everyone, and you're an entrepreneur's wife or an entrepreneur who's married and you want to get your wife acquainted with this, it's basically a sounding ground, right? It's a sounding ground. It's
absolutely.
like they say, surround yourself with the 5 best people, and you're just creating that place for people to go, a group. Like kind of like you said, when you started hanging around with other entrepreneurs' wives, it was like, okay, my situation isn't so bad, or it's
right.
Okay, I can vent here, not over there.
Yeah,
it's a sounding, it's a safe place to save what's going on, to support what's going on, to learn of what's going on, because we're always constantly learning. We're always taking it to a new level, and especially if your husband or wife is trying to go to an extreme in their success, and they're on their phone all the time. How do you deal with all this, and how do you kind of talk to them about, hey, put the phone a while from it, let's share some time together, all these different things.
Right.
They can learn and share with this in your groups. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really awesome. All right. Anything else we want to talk about here today? Anything cool that I missed?
No, I think you nailed it. I think that, really, I just think that there's so many people out there that are going through the same thing, and that just connecting and realizing that, hey, it's not maybe as bad as I think it is, or just having people around you that can support you is so important. So that's really what I'm doing is all about, is just a support system for the entrepreneur and the spouse.
I love it. Everyone, you know where to find her. Okay, Entrepreneur's Wife on Facebook here today. I'm looking at the page. I love how you did that. It really looks good there. Nice smile there too. Nice smile on both places.
Thank you.
I want to get a picture of you here with the smile on our live cam. 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, we got you there. And awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out. And thank you for participating in one of our posts of Alex Sharfin. I keep on screwing up his last name. Sharfin. And
Sharfin. He told me to say it like shark fin, but without the K. Sharfin.
Sharfin. There you go. He was my last interview, and he was amazing as well. He's such an amazing guy, and so many things. Right, and I'm glad you got a chance to interview him as well. I'd love to. Actually, if you could point me to that interview, I'd love to see it. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. All right, everybody. 5-minute bark. I hope you appreciated what we've offered here to you today. I think it was a great episode here today. I learned personally, which I love to learn. This is my goal. I want to learn just as much as you guys do out there, and hopefully Amy learned something here today too as well. And please reach out and support her, because she can support you. It's all about supporting each other, because we cannot do this alone. So we'll talk to you guys all soon, and guess what? We still got some more cool episodes coming. All right. Talk soon.